I had that as a backup. But yeah, and then when I was 18, I auditioned for Felicia's Journey, which I feel was kind of the film that, well, it got me my English agent. Well, at the time, I signed with PFD, but since I've moved.
Who are you with now, actually?
I'm with ARG, with Sue Latimer.
So, Felicia's Journey, what was the story behind that? What for people who haven't seen the movie?
It's based on a book by William Trevor, and it's a young Irish girl who gets pregnant, and she goes over to Birmingham to find the father of her child because he works over there. And then Bob Hoskins plays an older man, and he befriends Felicia and helps her look for Johnny. And yeah, it's a tricky one because if you say too much, it kind of ruins the story for people who haven't seen it.
Right. How did you get that role? Was that through a casting agent or?
Yeah, well, I actually the first audition I had to leave my business organisation exam early to go to the first audition of that, and it was like my final exam in school. And I hopped in a taxi, and then he zoomed off to the audition, and I got there in time. And it was a process of 4 auditions. The last 2, I met the director, Adam McGoyan. And then I just had to wait. I had to wait about like 4 or 5 weeks. And all I had been told was that I was down to the final 3, when actual fact it was down to the final 2, but I didn't know that. But it's still 2 or 3. I was still kind of like, oh my God, if I don't get this, I've come so close. You know what I mean? And so in a way it would be better not to know that piece of information, because I don't know if it makes it better or worse knowing I got so close if it doesn't go my way.
It must be a nightmare because you think of the other actress who was your age at the time who was up for that role will probably now be looking back at your career and thinking that could have been me.
Oh, I don't know, but it thankfully went my way, and it wasn't even excitement then because I knew it was going to be a big film, that it would be a big step. But so by the time I found out the news, it was just relief as opposed to excitement. But
didn't you find it intimidating? Suddenly, there you were, straight out of school. You hadn't done the RADA route, and you're suddenly there playing opposite Bob Hoskins.
No, I just thought, God, this is great. If I'm working with a really good actor, he can only make me look better. That was my reasoning at the time, which is great because I wasn't nervous. I was, I think I had the right amount of the healthy amount of nerves, but I was really excited. And I think, when you're younger, it's easier to be, you're more fearless because you're just more excited about things. So things that you might find more daunting as you get older, you don't even think about that side of it when you're younger, I find, for me. So it was I was just really excited, and it turned out to be such an amazing experience and a great experience to have there, even though it was my second film. But you know what I mean? It was kind of, I was older and I was able to take more in.
Tell us about Disco Pigs, the movie you did with the wonderful Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, Kirsten Sheridan directed that at the age of 23, which I'm still amazed about, because it's such, she's one of the best directors that I've worked with. I'd love to work with her again, and that was such a wonderful experience because all of us involved, like Cillian, myself, Ed, Steiny, the producer, Enda Walsh, who wrote the screenplay, and Kirsten, it was very much, we all fell in love with the characters, Pig and Runt. And so it was a lovely experience, and we all went on this magical, intense, beautiful and dark journey all together. So that was a great experience.
Because it was after Disco Pigs that then British television started picking up on you, wasn't it? For Fingersmith, wasn't it? And what came next?
Yeah.
It was Fingersmith and then eventually the Ghost Squad thing.
Yeah. I felt before, because even Uncle Adolf, that was the first time that I kind of did standard English. And I think for so long I would go up for roles, and the feedback I always got was, she's too young. She just looks too young. I don't know how true that was, or if it was an easy way for them to say she's not right. But you know, and it did feel at that time, that when I was going up for roles, that I had come into a good age where I didn't look too young. So so I think that helped. And yeah, so that was, you know, again, learning on a different level, because you move at such a fast pace when you're doing TV. You just have to be really, really quick. But, you know, great roles that I was really attracted to and interested in and found challenging.
I always ask this question, actually, of people, because there's always so many great stories of nightmare castings and nightmare scenarios you've had. What's the worst casting you've ever been to?
Oh, okay, yeah, one just popped into my head. I had to sing in the audition, and I was really nervous, so I yodeled. My voice just, you know, it was just so nervous that the director had to come up and give me a hug and say, it's okay. That was probably the most embarrassing audition I've ever had. But I think he remembers me, the director, so maybe it was still useful.
Have you ever had one of those total nightmare kind of directors casting out where they're just completely unhelpful and you just want to belt them?
I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I suppose if that was happening in a room while I'm auditioning, I wouldn't focus on that. I'd try and make the most of it. So, nothing too bad, nothing too cringeworthy.
I was going to ask you, the Travels with My Father thing, I mean, that was quite fun. I mean, there you are working with Colin Firth and Jim Broadbent.
Yes, that was, I mean, Jim Broadbent is an actor that I really admire and just love watching him. So to get the chance to work with him, and the whole cast were just, it was a dream cast to work with. Yeah, that was such a great job, and it was really interesting. Again, you know, well, for me, I always look for a challenge when I'm playing a part. You know, if I wanted to play the same part again and again and again, I'd you know, do, you know, be in a soap or, you know, something like that. But it's just nice to chop and change, and for this character especially, to play her at